Joy from Succulents, Kenya. So today I'm going to be answering some frequently asked questions about succulents. So before we get into this video, I just want to put out a disclaimer that the views shared on this video are my own, from my own 4-year experience with succulents. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first question is, are succulents indoor plants, or what kind of lighting do succulents need? So first things first, succulents are desert plants. So this means that they need full bright light to thrive and maintain their beautiful lush color. So what this means is, if you put your succulent inside your house and you do not give it a minimum of 3 hours of sunlight, what will happen is your succulent will grow leggy. Growing leggy means stretching or losing its color. So this is how it will look. So if you want to avoid that, you can be taking your succulent out to receive some sunlight at least twice a week. But if you don't have like a balcony or a place to take it out to, you can either place it next to your window to receive some bright light, or you can invest in grow lights. However, there are succulents which can tolerate indoor light, which is some medium light, and such succulents are Hawathias, jades, and some group of sebums, Hawathias and jade. So those who don't know what jades look like, they look like this. So that's a jade. This is a Hawathia. It can tolerate indoor light. Then we have this type of aloe, tiger tooth. Then we have a kalankoi. So those are succulents which can tolerate some indoor light. So what happens if your succulent stretches? What will happen is you either take it outside, but it's not going to revert back. To just get a steadier stem. So the solution is to remove the lower leaves. So this is a stretched out succulent. And this is a succulent that's stretched and I fixed it. So it will continue growing here up if you leave it in the sun. And then you can remove these lower leaves over here. So for this stretched out succulent, I can do the same thing, remove these lower leaves and then let it continue growing like a beautiful flower up and to look like a tree, kind of like what happened here. So it will continue growing like another succulent there on top, but once it's stretched, it's not gonna go back. So the next question is, do succulents need pots with drainage holes? And what will happen if I pot my succulent in a pot with no drainage hole? To be honest, nothing will happen. The key here is to be very, very careful with your watering. So the rule of thumb that I usually use with my succulents is I give water the size of the pot that I have. So this rule I use across all my pots. So most of the succulents you see here actually are potted in plants in pots with no drainage holes. So like this one here. So I just water it like quarter the size of this pot, which is 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon per week for this. Sometimes I can even go 2 weeks and nothing will happen. So yeah. The next question is, why are my succulents yellowing? Why are my succulents drying? Is it normal for my succulents to have like brown leaves or brown lower leaves? So yeah. So leaf education here. We have leaves that look like this. So leaves that look like this are normal. Sometimes they're just like leaves which are there to push out new growth to your plant. So if you see something like this, chances are the lower part of your succulent is giving birth to new babies, like this one here. But if you see leaves that look like this, this means that your succulent is rotting and it has been overwatered. So you'll obviously notice the first leaves which are yellowing. The next step is for this leaf to turn black. So if that happens, there's nothing you can do, your succulent is dead. But if your succulent looks yellow like this, remove it from its pot and just let it air dry for 3 days. Then we have the other type of leaf, which is a shriveled leaf. So this is not really a red flag. These two are not red flags. So if you see your succulent leaf is shriveled or dry, there's nothing you should be worried. The shriveled leaf means that your succulent is thirsty and you've probably not watered it after a very long time. So just water your succulent. Just water your succulent. So yeah, moving on to the next point is, how often are you supposed to be watering your succulent? So this depends on where you live and where you've placed it. So the key here is only water your succulent when the soil is dry or when the leaves are shriveled up. If you're not in a position to tell that your soil is dry by looking at it, because probably you've put rocks around your plant, you can wait for the leaves to shrivel up. For farmer succulents, they'll just look like they're drying, so they'll just look thin. So what happens is once you water, they'll plump back up. Yeah. So the next question is, how do succulents reproduce? So succulents, from my experience, succulents reproduce from their leaves. I've not seen succulent seeds before, so I can't really speak much on it. So how I reproduce my succulents is from their leaves. So you just like gently take out a leaf. So you have to like rotate it and take it out gently, and then once you've taken out your leaf, you just place it in a place that's dry, like a tray or a plate, and let it air dry, and then you'll just start seeing roots developing like this. Yeah, so this is what happens after 2 weeks. Roots and then small babies. Then after a month, it will look something like this, growing taller. Then after almost 6 weeks, it will start looking a bit taller like this. So yeah, that's how succulents reproduce. So moving on to the next question is, do all succulents flower or do succulents flower? Yes, most of the succulents you see here have flowered. I have one which is flowering at the moment. So here it is. So yes, succulents do flower. And the next question is, are succulents poisonous to humans and animals? Yes, absolutely. Most plants are poisonous if consumed, not if they're touched. It's not poisonous if you touch the succulent. Nothing will happen to you. But please avoid. Most pests, most animals will know not to eat the plants, but sometimes you might be having small babies in your house, so try to put it away from your kids, because small babies tend to like try to eat everything. So if to be on the safer side, it's best to just like put the succulent away to avoid eating. But I personally have never eaten a succulent to be able to give you this experiment. I would really like to try eating the succulent to give you an experiment. Maybe we try. It's just full of water. So I guess that's why they're desert plants. So the succulent is palm. The succulent leaves, which look fat, are usually full of water, and I've just like found out today that it's actually water, because once I chewed this leaf, it's just water that came out. It actually tasted like water more than a plant. Anyway, moving on to the next point. What type of soil do succulents need? So succulents need well-draining soil. This means that soil that once you water, you see like the water is going down. It's not like staying on the surface. It's sinking. It's being absorbed by the plant. So yeah, that's what succulents need. So if you're not, it's best to plant them in compost. But if you don't have compost, you can just mix any soil with sand. You can mix any soil with clay, or just some little pebbles or perlite. Basically, you can make your own succulent mix. But for me, I've been growing my succulents with the soil that we have here, which is black cotton. And so far, so good. I don't have any complaints. So I just pot them with black cotton and then sprinkle some manure on top, and they thrive. Like this one, you can see some manure. So yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. So if you stick this far into the video, I'm just going to show you some of the succulents on this table, because I took some time to place them here, and I'm gonna give you some small history about them and how they've been doing so far and the tips I used to keep them alive and keep them looking lush. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, for the succulents tour of the succulents on this table here, we have the ones on the front, the ones that are in small cute tiny pots. So all these are potted in plants with no drainage. Some are 1 month old, some are 6 months old, some are 1 year old. Yeah, so we have this one here which I potted in Feb and we're in July. So far so good, it's doing well. So that's bottle top. Yeah, so these ones here have no drainage, so I try to water 1 tablespoon each per week, but most times I usually forget, so I just use the rule for waiting for the leaves to shrivel up so that I can water them. Don't know if you can see, but none of the leaves are shriveled up here. So yeah, moving to the second row, we have my succulent arrangement, which is 6 months old. So for the ones who usually wonder about succulent arrangements, what usually happens is once you compact succulents together, and it's very hard for them to grow. By growing I mean grow faster, so it's hard for them to like outgrow the pot. But what you do, maintenance, is just pulling out the lower leaves. Some of the lower leaves have dead leaves, like this one is already dry. See some dried leaves. So yeah, it's the same rule. These need minimum 3 hours, so it's best to put them in your balcony or next to your window. And then here we have my black prints, and then it's in a hydro dipped clay pot. So that's a clay pot. This is a ceramic with no drainage. This is a cup. This is a jade that's almost 1 year. Actually, this is almost 1 year. I potted it when it was this size. So yeah, jades, actually all succulents take a while to grow. So you can see that there's no drainage hole. This was a broken cup that I repurposed into a pot. This is a succulent that's outgrowing its pot, as you can see. This is a succulent that I recycled a yogurt cup to pot it in. This was also a recycled yogurt cup. And that's an ash tray. This is a pen holder that I repurposed into a succulent holder. This is 1.5 years, and it has so many babies, as you can see. So like what I was saying, if you put most of these leaves that are usually at the bottom that are dried, I usually just leaves giving out new babies, and then they just dry out once the baby consumes all their water. And then here is another succulent this is a late hope that does really well indoor. This is a burro tail that I potted in a toothbrush holder. The toothbrush holder had broken. See? Yeah. So I repurposed that to pot that. This was a succulent that I purposefully stretched. And you can see these new growth on the leaves, these tiny ones. So yeah, so that will grow into a cute tiny tree like this one here. So I'm still not sure if I should remove the leaves under and leave it like that. And this is a flowering succulent, and that's all the succulents I have. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please remember to subscribe and like and share to your friends. So yeah, thank you.